Hello, welcome to our channel, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about the kingdom Protista. And in the previous lecture we have discussed about the Monera. Okay, so in the kingdom Protista we are going to deal with trichophytes, dinoflagellates, eugenites, slime molds, and protozoans. So these are the topics that we are going to discuss in this lecture. Okay, so these Protista, most of them are single-celled eukaryotes. Cell means the organism which is made up of single cell, that is known as single cell. Okay, so if the organism is made up of more than one cell, okay, more than one cell, that is known as multicellular. So this is the main difference between the single cell and the multicellular organisms. So most of the single cell eukaryotes are placed in the protista. Okay, so the boundaries of this kingdom is not well defined. What does it mean? For example, this organism, for me this organism may look like a photosynthetic organism, and this is the same organism may look like some kind of plant to you, and the same organism may look like bacteria for some other biologist, and so on. So this is the reason it doesn't have well defined boundaries. Okay, so some unicellular organisms are placed in this kingdom. Example, trichophytes, dinoflagellates, eugenites, and also slime molds, and also protozoans. These all are the organisms that are placed in the kingdom Protista. Okay, unicellular means that we have discussed just now, the one cell. Okay, the kingdom forms a link with other, dealing with the plants and also animals and also fungi, and members of this kingdom are primarily aquatic. Aquatic means in the pond, whether it may be pond or whether it may be ocean or whether it may be sea. So in these organisms, these are going to live in it. Okay, they are going to live in it, and they have some kind of special features to live in this water. Okay, so they have a well defined nucleus. Just now we have discussed that they have eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means, what is meant by eukaryotic? A organism which has the well defined nucleus in them, that is known as eukaryotic. And if the organism doesn't have any cell, any nucleus, okay, any nucleus, and also they have the DNA which is naked, or DNA which is present in the cytoplasm, that is known as a prokaryote, and is a prokaryote, and this is the eukaryote. It is the main difference between them. Okay, most of the protistans are the eukaryote, or they are the eukaryotic and single cellular. Okay, so they have, this is the reason, because of they are eukaryotic, they have the nucleus. Okay, and also not only that, they have the membrane bound cell organelles. We know that the cell has the cell organelles, whether it may be nucleus, whether it may be ribosomes, or whether it may be mitochondria or chloroplast, what it may be. So these cell organelles are surrounded by the membrane. What is that membrane? Plasma, or that is nothing but lipid bilayer. Lipid bilayer is surrounded around it, that is a membrane, that is known as membrane bound organelle. And they produce sexually, asexually, by a process involving the fusion and also zygote formation. So cell fusion, for example, especially if you see the two cells, if the two cells are fusing together or joining together, it is known as a fusion, leading to the formation of one single cell. This is known as a fusion. Okay, the reproduction may be sexual or asexual. Sexual means the union of the gametes, or two cells will be fused. For example, especially the male gamete and also the female gamete, they are going to fuse together to form a single cell. So that is known as zygote. Okay, asexual means there is no formation of the gametes and there is no fusion of the gametes. So this is about asexual. Okay, so if there is sexual, there is a formation of the zygote formation. Okay, and most of them has a well defined nucleus, and some of them have the cilia and flagella. So what is meant by cilia? Cilia means the organism is surrounded with hair. Okay, small hair like structure. They are not hair, but they look like hair. That is known as cilia, that we are going to discuss after a moment. And they may have the flagella also. Flagella means a long whip like structure. It is used for the locomotion. It's about flagella. Okay, next is the chrysophytes. So that group includes diatoms, and also they are chief producers in the oceans, and also golden algae also. So if there is a golden algae, we can call it as a desmids. Okay, so they are the photosynthetic. It means they are going to perform the photosynthesis, and microscopic and can be found in the fresh water as well as the marine environment. and they float passively in the water currents, example plankton. Okay, this is the main thing. And we have seen it is the photosynthetic, means it is going to perform photosynthesis. So if it is a photosynthetic organism, it has to be on the water currents. Okay, they are going to float passively, means they are going to float on the water currents freely. And in the diatoms, the cell wall forms a too thin overlapping of the shells fit like a soap box. So if you see the soap box, it is look like this, and above it there is a cover lid and so on. These shells are like soap box, so they are overlapping like a soap box, embedded with the silica. Silica is the toughest material, and even the sand is also made up of silica, which are indestructible. It means they are stronger. And accumulation of the cell wall depositions in their habitat over millions of years referred to as diatomaceous earth. So after these organisms die, these cell walls, which is made up of silica, they are going to fall on the floor of the oceans, and they are going to form a diatomaceous earth. Okay, and the importance of diatomaceous earth is it has some kind of economical importance. That is, these diatomaceous earth can be used in the polishing, and they can be used in the filtration of oils and syrups. Okay, and the main usage for polishing is due to the presence of gritty nature. Okay, it is this is the reason they can be used for the polishing, filtration and syrup, filtration of the syrup. Okay, and next the dinoflagellates. These organs are mostly marine and photosynthetic, and its cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on their surface. If you see here the diagram is about the dinoflagellate, and these organs appear in different colors. So why? Because the cells has different pigments. So if the cell has the yellow color pigment, they look like yellow. If the cell has a green color pigment, they look like green. And if the cell has a brown, they are going to look in the brown, and blue or red, and so on. So depending upon the pigment which is present in their cells, they are going to look in that color. And most of them has a two flagella, one lie longitudinally and the transversely in furrows between the plates. So if you see here, these are the plates that is formed in the dinoflagellates. Okay, one is forming here, one flagella is here, and another flagella is formed transversely between the plates. Okay, and some dinoflagellates undergo rapid multiplication, means they are going to divide rapidly, and they make C appear red. Why? Because these organisms, if they have the red color, so if they have the red color pigment, they look like a red color tides. Why? Because they are going to multiply rapidly. Okay, rapid multiplication. There is also red color dye or red color pigment containing the dinoflagellates. If they multiply more in number, the tides look red in color. Okay, so example, you can take the example of the gonulax. It is a red dinoflagellates, and the main problem of the dinoflagellates is they are going to release some kind of toxins. So these toxins which is released by these gonulax is going to kill the marine organisms, especially the fishes. Fishes are killed by the toxins released by the gonulax. Okay, so this is about dinoflagellate. And next is the euglenoids. So most of them are the freshwater organisms found in the stagnant water. Stagnant water means the water which is stayed in a particular location for a period of time, that is known as stagnant water. So you can see this is the stagnant water. So if the water is stayed over here for longer period of time, this is known as stagnant water, and these organisms are going to live in the stagnant water for longer period of time. So they have the protein rich layer instead of a cell wall. So they also has a cell wall. Okay, but the cell wall is made up of pellicle. If you see the plant cell wall, it is made up of cellulose, but the cell wall of these euglenoids is made up of a substance is known as a pellicle. Pellicle instead of cell wall, instead of cellulose. So this is the reason, due to the presence of pellicle in their cell wall, they have the flexible body. Okay, the body is very much flexible and soft. So they have the two flagella, one short and one long. Here you can see one is the long, another is the short. They are going to join together to form a one single flagella. Okay, that we have discussed about the flagella importance is for the locomotion. Okay, they have the two flagella, one is short and long, and they are photosynthetic in nature. So there are two types of nutrition. Modes of nutrition is two types. One is autotrophic and another is heterotropics. Okay, So when they are autotrophic, when is heterotrophic? Autotrophic when there is a sunlight. Okay, they are heterotrophic when there is no sunlight. So if there is no sunlight, they are going to feed on the other organisms, feed on other organisms. And if there is sunlight, they are going to produce photosynthesis. If they don't have to feed on the other organisms. Okay, photosynthesis when there is sunlight, and feeding on other organism when there is no sunlight. Okay, so pigments of the eugenites are identical to the pigments which is present in the higher plants. For example, if you see the plants, they are green in color due to the presence of chlorophyll. Okay, the same pigment is not present in them, but similar kind of a pigment is present in the eugenites. So this is the reason they are going to look green in color. Okay, so this is about euglenites. Next is the slime molds. They are the saprophytic protists. Their body moves along the decaying matter and end of the organic material. So what is meant by organic? Organic means any substance which is made up of carbon, that is known as organic. Example, glucose is the organic. Why? Because the glucose molecules contains carbon. Amino acids also carbon. Amino acids also organic. Why? Because amino acids contains carbon. So these all are the organic materials. Even the organisms is made up of organic materials or organic material, or you can call it as a biomolecules. Okay, each and every organism is made up of biomolecules. So they are going to feed on it. Example, they are going to feed on the twigs, leaves, or some other dead organisms. So they form a plasmodium, that is the aggregation. So these slime molds are going to come together, that is nothing but aggregation. And under the favorable conditions, if the conditions are favorable, they are going to form a plasmodium, that is aggregation, and they grow and spread over the several feet. Okay, it means they are going to occupy a larger area. This is only in case of favorable conditions, if the nature is favorable to them. But if the nature is not favorable to them, that is nothing but unfavorable conditions, they are going to form fruiting bodies. So if the fruiting bodies are formed, what you will see, okay, there is a formation of spores on the tips of the fruiting bodies. Okay, so the fruiting body is nothing but a differentiation of the plasmodium. So due to the differentiation of the plasmodium, the fruiting bodies are formed. These fruiting bodies bears spores, and the spores are going to survive in the toughest conditions or when the nature is not favorable to them. Okay, the spores possessed through they are going to have the cell wall. Okay, that wall is extremely resistant, so they are going to survive for longer period of time. So if the nature is unfavorable, so even the adverse conditions and spores can be dispersed by the air currents. Air currents means the direction of the wind or the movement of the wind. Okay, so when the conditions become favorable, again they are going to germinate. So this is the diagram for the organism, slime molds. And next is the protozoans. These protozoans are believed to be primitive relatives of the animals, and all protozoans are heterotrophic and live as a predators or parasites. So if you see here, the animals are heterotrophs. They are not going to perform the photosynthesis. So this is the reason they are heterotrophs. So this is the reason, due to the heterotrophic nature of the protozoans, they are said to be primitive relatives of the animals. Okay, so they are going to act as a predator. What is a predator? One organism is going to feed on the other organism for the food material. So that is known as a predator. So what is meant by parasite? Organism is going to depend on the other organism. The parasite may live inside the organism or may live outside the organism. The main role is the main importance thing is for the food and shelter. These parasites are depending on the host. Okay, this is the host, inside it is the parasite. The parasite may be inside or parasite may be outside of the host. Okay, the four major groups of the protozoans are amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, and also sporozoans. These are the types of the protozoans. First, we will discuss about the amoeboid protozoans. The word itself says they have the amoeboid nature or amoeboid movement. So they are going to live in the fresh water or seawater or moist soil. So they have the amoeboid movement. So when they find any food material or any prey means food or any organism. So these organisms are going to produce a false feet or false finger-like projections. They are known as pseudopodia. Okay, pseudopodia. And the pseudopodia is going to fuse together and engulfing the food material inside it. It means they are going to take the material inside the organism for the digestion. So the marine forms have the silica shells on their surface, example entamoeba, parasite, and so on. So next is the flagellated protozoans. Again, the word says about it. They have the flagella. Okay, the members of this group have the flagella, and they may be free living or parasite. Free living means they live on their own, and parasite means they are going to depend on the host for the food and shelter. Okay, so the parasitic form causes disease like sleeping sickness. Example, trypanosoma. This trypanosoma is going to cause sleeping sickness. It is going to harm the host. Next is the ciliated protozoa. Ciliated means they have the cilia around it. So they are aquatic, actively moving organisms due to the presence of the thousands of cilia. You can see the paramecium, and around the body of the paramecium you can see the small hair-like structure. So the small hair-like structure is known as cilia. The main importance of the cilia is they are going to help in the movement. Okay, not only help in the movement but also they help in the collection of the food material into the oral groove. Okay, so this is a coordinated movement, means all the cilia move in one direction at one time, at particular time. So such kind of movement of the cilia in one direction at a particular time, that is known as coordinated movement of the cilia. So this causes the water laden with the food material steered into the gullet. So this is the gullet, and the food and food along with water along with the food material will be pumped into the gullet. Example, paramecium. So this gullet is a cavity that opens into the outside of the cell surface. Okay. And next is the sporozoans. That include the diverse organisms that have an infectious spores like stage in their life cycle. Example, plasmodium. So the plasmodium, it is going to act as a parasite. It is going to live inside the human beings especially, and it is going to cause harm to the host. Okay, so you can call it as a malarial parasite. Okay, so this parasite cause malaria, which has a staggering effect on the human population. So this malarial parasite is going to cause malaria and going to kill thousands and lakhs of the people. So hence you can call it as a staggering effect on human population. Okay, and I hope this lecture is helpful to you, and also you can support us by subscribing, like, share, and comment. Provide your valuable suggestion and in the comment section, and so that we will know about quality of the lectures and so on. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the kingdom fungi. Okay, not a classification. We are going to discuss about the kingdom fungi. Okay, and see you in the next lecture.